What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Jared Boots Ennis. Get this. Jared Boots Ennis says that he'll fight Jermell Charlo at 154 if no Spence or other big names are there. Jared Boots Ennis says that he'll take on a fight against undisputed junior middleweight champion Jermell Charlo if offered to him if he can't get the Errol Spence Jr. fight or any other names of top fighters at the welterweight division. And he said he was trying to stir the pot, but we got people in front of us now. We're going to handle our works on Saturday night and see what happens, said Jared Boots Ennis about his argument with Rashidi Ellis during Thursday's press conference. He says, I don't knock him, Ellis, for not taking the fight for the money. It was presented to him, the fight offer, right before this fight, said Boots Ennis, and about a fight being offered to Rashidi Ellis to fight him on January 7th. At first, it was supposed to be me and Stanionis. Then they got the WBA call. They said something about me and him. We said, yeah, and I guess they said no because there wasn't enough money or whatever. Then we put in a petition to the IBF and got the IBF interim belt. But I think Ellis, will fight if I can't get one of the champs or Virgil Ortiz or Stanionis. If I have to stay busy fight, I'll definitely fight him, Rashidi. Fighting the IBF interim belt now, I feel like this is no choice. Errol Spence either got to fight me or vacate. I'm not too sure. After I get this win on Saturday, we'll see. And Ennis, when asked if he thinks Spence will fight him after his April title defense against a still-to-be-determined opponent, he says, hopefully it's me. He's got 120 days after this April fight to defend his IBF belt against me. It doesn't matter when or what he does. They're the top guys at welterweight. Bud, Spence, you got to respect them. I'm coming to take their belts. But both fights are going to be easy to make since Bud is free and Spence is already on the side, PBC. So I feel both fights will be easy to make. Without me, you can go Spence, Bud, you can go Virgil Ortiz, Keith Thurman, Uga Stanionis, said Boots Ennis when asked to rank the welterweights. He says, I feel like Spence did the most work at 147. He's the man at the weight because he's got 3 belts. Bud only got 1 title. Bud was the man at 140, and now he's trying to make the mark at 147. I feel Spence is the one because he's got all 3 belts. I feel after the fight, it's going to chance a lot more. Everything feels regular to me right now. It's just normal. Boots said when asked how he feels about that, he's on the cusp of superstardom. He says, if I get the opportunity, I will fight at 154, and I'll definitely go to 154. Everybody says I'm a big 147-pounder, so I'll take that opportunity at 154. He says, I will fight Jermell Charlo for undisputed at junior middleweight if it was offered to me. And let me counterpunch. I know I covered a lot, so let's cover a lot. Let me counterpunch a lot. First off, Rashidi Ellis is a contender slash prospect slash contender. Now, very good talent. I've seen clips of him. And I've seen Boots Ennis knock guys out flat. I've seen his style. I've seen he's a switch hitter. He is a big welterweight, mind you. So the idea of him going to 154, it kind of intrigues me. But then you look at what's going to happen. I think everything at 147 is going to happen at 154 anyway. Because we have Errol Spence. He's a big boy. He's still growing. We had Jared Boots Ennis saying that he will go to 154. We had Bud Crawford saying that, hey, if I can't get Spence, I'll come to 154 and fight Jermell Charlo. Well, we'll see how far that goes. But the bottom line is a lot of people are going to 154. It's a natural migration. Okay. Just like everybody was at 160, like Golovkin and Chris Eubank and you had a lot of fighters back then. David Lemieux, Demetrius Andre, Billy Joe Saunders. All those guys were at 160. Now they're at 168, right? Okay, the same thing is going to happen at 154. Okay, those guys are going to come to 154, and the same shit's going to happen. They're going to ignite the division, and the guys that were smaller, you know, the Davises, the Garcias, they're going to go to 147 and make their mark there. Josh Taylor, countless other people, right? So saying all that to say this, I listen for keywords. I know Jared Boots Ennis is an Al Heyman fighter. Like he said, if it was offered to him. You know what that means? That means he cannot confirm nor deny. He cannot request or demand. He can't do any of those things. He said, if it was offered to me, I would go to 154. I'm going to go to 154 anyway. But I would take the fight if it was offered. That doesn't really give you too much to work with. If I'm Jared Boots Ennis, I'm going to do something. I'm going to make a splash at 147 first. I'm not going to go to 154 and pray and wish and hope for a fight with Jermell Charlo, because he might not get that Jermell Charlo fight unless Jermell starts to fade or piss Al Heyman off. Okay, he starts to decline. And I don't see him declining just because he hurt his hand. Okay, so, you know, he has a lot of fighting time left in him, and he's one tough mother sucker, might I add, okay? And he's one mean guy. He's either meaner than his brother. He's the smaller one, but he's the meaner one. His brother is not the meanest, you know, he's the biggest, okay, at 160. So, so I think, you know, the key word is he's open to fight at 154. That's all that means. But again, the opportunities that rest for him are at 147 right now. I wouldn't go to 154 if nothing's guaranteed. They're not offering anything because they may not have confidence in him. And even if they did, they may not want to fight all their fighters against each other right then. There's a reason for weight classes, and I think there's a reasons for guys are staying at one division and not going to another, like Jared Boots Ennis, like Jared Hurd used to. Remember, Jared Hurd was this big 6 foot tall guy, and he stayed at 154, beating up on Ennis Lara and things like that. It took him a while to go to 160. Okay, so those are those type of things that I do question when it does come to guys that are huge, freakishly big for a weight class. Maybe they're starching themselves or whatever, but they're still making the weight and they're still fighting in a particular division. Okay, so would the fight be lit? I would love to see Jared Boots Ennis take on Jermell Charlo. That would be a great fight. And it would be for undisputed, because Jermell Charlo is the undisputed champion. I'm not mad at it. Why? Because he stuck and he stayed there and he got every belt. He got every belt he needed to get. He took a loss in the meantime. He avenged himself and he kept on moving forward. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Jared Boots Ennis saying that he's willing to go to 154 to take on Jermell Charlo for undisputed. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.